many of you here in this room today likes to watch films, likes to listen to music, likes to read, or maybe even like to look at artwork? There have been creative people since the dawn of time. Authors, playwrights, filmmakers even, musicians, and today's world, even digital artists. All of this in this room are interested in some sort of creativity in one way, shape, or another. Even if you're not a very creative person. Because, hey, you do enjoy things that a creative person has made. There are different songs you might like, films you might like to watch, books you may like to read. And believe it or not, a creative person has made these things. I myself am a creative individual. I even brought you a treat to show you. These are two paintings I did. This one's for Strats, which is an abstract painting of 4 Stratocaster bodies. And for those of you that don't know what a Fender Stratocaster is, it's an electric guitar. This I call Crosses on Calvary. I wrote it one Sunday after church because I was inspired, and so I thought I'd paint some crosses on Calvary. Today, I'm going to express what led to an interest in wanting to make short films, work with digital media, and what got me interested in painting. Let's start with the interest in making short films first. How many of you have seen Back to the Future? Raise your hands. I have. I've seen it probably 20 or 30 times. That's one of my most favorite films ever. And when I was a kid, I first saw that. I was about 10 years old. And I was like, wow, how did they do that? And just the storyline of it just left me awestruck. And I've seen the whole series who knows how many times. When I heard that Steven Spielberg played a role in the making of that film, I just wanted to watch anything Steven Spielberg. He was just an executive producer, but I just wanted to watch anything else that he even directed, and so I got into his films. So I started liking Indiana Jones, Jurassic Park, AI, E.T. E.T. is one of my favorite films. He, to this day, even though I've never made a real Hollywood film or anything close to that, remains one of my biggest influences. And my short films are nothing like his. I don't know if they ever will be, but hopefully someday. So he influenced me to even Back to the Future films even influenced me to write my version of it when I was 12, 13 years old. I titled it after my favorite Huey Lewis in the News song at the time called Couple Days Off. I figured I'd use Huey Lewis in the News because he was used in the original Back to the Future script, so why not? I was interested in the technicalities of making a movie that when my junior high school offered me a chance to work on their news broadcast that the students put on for the school, I took it. I wasn't in front of the camera though. My job was to do behind the scenes stuff. Doing the mixing board, the editing, running the cameras, that sort of thing. My mom even, back in the mid-90s when I was about 14, bought a camcorder to video family events with. Now this camcorder, it wasn't one of those small dinky ones you got nowadays that just has a hard drive in it. This was about 5 or 10 pound heavy thing that you wear over your shoulder that you stick a VCR tape in and record on the VCR tape. Those were the days. Like lugging that bag around everywhere you went, big huge bag. Yeah. Heavy thing. But I eventually took the skills I learned in that class, and in high school, me and a couple buddies would take that camcorder, and we would go and record different shenanigans, doing stupid stuff. Some of those tapes that still exist, but I don't know how great quality shape they are. I eventually bought myself a digital camcorder, which is the thing I'm recording this speech on now. And I can hide this thing anywhere, and I can record up to 60 gigs of memory, 60 gigs of video with this thing. It's amazing what I can do with it. And so I now have a channel on YouTube, www.youtube.com/user/Mike Irvan, Mikeirvan, for those of you that want to follow me on YouTube. And I post different videos every once in a while on there. I would like to even make my own Christian film someday. Another creative thing I like to do, which I probably have a better chance at a career with, is digital design. I was 16 years old when I first started using website design and the internet. And the first time I used it, I learned that anyone could create a website with all these point-and-click, create your own personal website services that were out there at the time. But the technology of those sites was pretty basic, I thought, and not very creative. I wanted to learn how to be creative with site design, how to build my website from scratch. So I bought a book on HTML, and for those of you that don't know what HTML is, it's hypertext markup language. It's the coding for browsers that tells your browser how to display a graphic, how to display the text. It's pretty cool markup language. I also tried learning C++ and those other programming languages, but they were way over my head. At least HTML I could understand. When I was 23, I was taking care of a website for a friend of mine. When someone he worked with, who knew all about graphic design and worked with Photoshop, came up to him and said that he could make the site look much better and more professional using graphics. So my friend in turn put this guy in touch with me, and this guy introduced me to graphic design. So I bought a book on graphic editing software and learned some tricks, and I was amazed at what I was able to do with the software. I realized I had potential working in the digital art field. This is what led me to eventually go back to school. I haven't been back to school since 1999 when I graduated high school. So here it is, about 13 years later, and I decided to go back to school. I heard about the digital media program at North Art College, and I realized it was the plan for me. During my first semester here, I took Basic Design 1, an art class. It's a painting class. At the beginning of that semester, I didn't think I would do that well at all in that class. Even though I'm pretty creative, I never saw myself as much of a painter. When I was growing up, the art classes I took, all I could draw were stick figures, and I could never even paint inside the lines. And my lines weren't even straight. In basic design class, though, I learned that I don't have to be able to really draw to be a painter. I can draw shapes and make a good painting. I mean, all I did on this was took a cutout of a Fender Stratocaster body, traced it, painted. Simple as that. Made it look cool. And still very creative. So I just got to have a creative imagination, and anything can become art. I don't think I'm one of the greatest artists, though. I mean, I don't think my work is anything compared to Van Gogh or Dali or Picasso. Probably not even Kincaid or Norman Rockwell even. But it does have potential. And those paintings, they are for sale. My wife and I, we have a booth at the farmer's market in the summer. We also do a booth at the Homesteader Swap Meet. And I plan on having a separate booth at the farmer's market this summer too for my paintings, so they can have a real good display. So they are for sale if you're interested. So today I introduced myself, my creative thinking, and my creative side, and what led me to be a very creative-minded individual. I personally believe that we all have a creative side, in some way or shape or form. However, I think that some of us feel that it's our calling. That's what we are to do, is to do something creative. And because of my creativity, I'm on several social networks. Even though it might not be safe, I'm on several social networks for the sole purpose of marketing. I'm on Twitter, I'm on Instagram, I'm on Pinterest, I'm on Facebook, I'm on LinkedIn, I'm on MySpace. You name it, I'm probably on there. I would love to use my creative mind for anyone that needs a creative thought or input. So remember, everyone, whenever you watch a good film, read a good book, see a painting that you like, or hear a good song that you like, somebody really creative put that together. Probably even me. Thank you.